All right. Hello, everyone. I think I'm live. Welcome and thank you all so much for being here. How's everyone doing today? Good to be here with you all. All right. Give me just a moment to get all set up. I will just say I will be talking and discussing a lot of things that I've shared on my community board recently. So if anybody's feeling a bit impatient, I have quite a bit to discuss before we start doing greetings, okay? All right. Well, I see some of you are here. Desfire, yay, finally caught this live. Well, I'm so happy that you're here live. Thank you for being here. All right. So I will start off by just saying, please do me a favor. Please hit the thumbs up if you haven't. Um, really helps with the YouTube algorithms that have been bombarding not just me but other readers as well. Trying to, I don't want to say silence, but stop our content from getting out there. So hitting the thumbs up helps. Also, after the video posts, if you'd like to leave a positive comment, that also helps with the YouTube algorithm. And also make sure that you're subscribed, because I've been getting a lot of, I've heard from quite a bit of my subscribers that they've been unsubscribed, a few of them multiple times. So it does seem that YouTube's messing with the subscription numbers as well. So help me to get to 25,000 before the end of this year. That would be great. And I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Well, if you haven't seen my community posts, I have been posting quite a bit since last week, as I've been shifting my energy quite a bit and doing quite a bit of self-reflection on myself and on the channel. And also, I think just in life, I've been getting a lot of clarity and direction of where I want to move. So I will say that it's not that I'm not doing political readings anymore, and I don't mind reading on politics, but I really do not want that to be the straight focus of this channel going any longer. Just because it feels like so many, and myself included, we're just feeding into this parasitic attachment to Trump. It's almost an obsession. And does it do anything to empower us? No, so many people are feeling disempowered right now and hopeless and disconnected from their true self, disconnected from that inner peace within all of us. And I almost question, I know my purpose was starting my channel and why I originally started it was to help keep people calm, but it's the energy is just so heightened right now. I don't know if it's a disservice to humanity right now by just obsessing about Trump and the politics. I hope that makes sense. So I will be shifting and rebalancing. I will keep my same collabs that I do regularly. So it's not that I'm not going to ever read on politics again. I would just rather focus in on a collective energy rather than a political divisive energy that's actually pulling us further and further apart. So I still have no issue giving predictions, but I also want to incorporate tools of empowerment and spiritual growth and development. Okay. And yes, Viviani says it's toxic. Yes, it does feel a bit toxic. And also, as I work on increasing my frequency and shifting a lot for myself, and now stepping into this responsibility as a teacher and mentor towards others, I've just grown to have quite a bit of resistance against just all of the hate on both sides, to be honest with you, or fear. It's not just one-sided. So again, focusing more on empowering others and just rebalancing. I'm still receiving clarity on where I want to go with direction of the channel too, but I do feel in this current energy, it's just it's so supercharged right now. And I will say, if you like the politics and that's your thing, I get it. I hope you'll stay if the messages resonate with you. But I understand if you feel like you need to move on or if that's where your focus needs to be. I get it. Again, not totally stepping away from politics and political readings, but um, and you have free will and choice to do that, and I respect that. I still send everybody love and gratitude for your support of the channel, even if it's time to move on. But I will say from my comments, I do feel quite a few of you are really getting tired of the political stuff as well. It's not just me feeling this way. So, um, because I had a lot of comments of encouragement and feeling a bit tired and exhausted from the constant politics. So, all right. Yes, it's Kamal Dune says, I agree. There's been so much negativity lately and it's been draining. Absolutely. And if I can just share, and I would love if you want to write in the comments as well, or even after the video post, if you rewatch this, last week is a major shift in the energy, but for really positive. Um, I think between the solar flares, the 1111 portal, I have felt such a magical shift in my own personal energy. And really, this year, it's a 9 year, but it's been about a lot of healing and growth and developing and shifting. Again, like I said, kind of stepping into a role as a teacher, which has been really gratifying and fulfilling. But even for me personally, I'll say like the last 3 years, and I don't want to just blame it on the political readings, but the last 3 years, I've had quite a bit of chronic pain and inflammation in my neck, back of my head, some TMJ issues that I don't talk about too often. But I'll say this last week and a half, between I had a cranial sacral appointment that really released a lot of emotions that was stored in the body. I've been taking a sound healing class, which the energy from that was amazing. The solar flares just bringing in so much guidance and wisdom and shifting and empowerment. And then I taught 2 classes over the weekend. I finished 2 of my level 2 classes. So that's really where my focus has been the last week. And I'll tell you, since last Wednesday, no pain, a little bit of inflammation. There feels like there's a little bit of tightness here still, but and I did notice it a little bit yesterday, but I also did 2 classes back to back that were 8.5 hours just sitting here. So I think that was a contributing factor, but no, just like this total shift for me, which is, I know others are frustrated. They're like, when's good news coming in? When's good news coming in? It's already here if you can open up to receive it. Mm. All right. We'll see where things go with this. Like I said, not necessarily giving up politics, political readings entirely. I just don't want them to be the main focus. If you are interested in political readings, Susan Lynn will be on the channel tomorrow night, and I'm sure we'll get really deep into it. All right. And I think I'll be on Mel's channel as well. But yeah, a lot of you are welcoming some changes. Yes, we're getting so much positive energy from the sun and illumination with the sun too. Look what's going on. you know? All right. Oh, Equus had some chronic pain, but had a very positive change last week as well. I love that. we'll see. And again, when I started this channel, it was to my intention and purpose with it, and I know that there's still purpose with this, is to help keep everybody calm and peaceful during stressful, trying times, um, and to keep that vision of faith that's on the horizon and all this positive change that's coming, all this shifting that we're going through. But things, I think human nature is we like things to feel very safe and comfortable. We don't like change. There's a big resistance to change. And that's what's happening right now. Things are coming to the surface where we have to deal with them, and that we have to acknowledge them before we can move into this new direction. All right. So there's purpose with it. And again, I'm still reflecting on where things are going, but also it's just so important to maintain a high frequency and not connect inward, not allow all of those outward distractions to pull you away from the true you, that uplifting, loving frequency within all of us, that spark of God and his love within all of us. So yeah, we're going to be rebalancing and shifting things a little bit. All right. Thank you all so much. I appreciate all the love. I really do. I will say last week, I shared a huge download of information that I got. You can go back and watch it, or I do have it posted on my community board. I posted a photo of some of the northern lights I caught. But there was some real resistance to that message. And I get it. It's hard to let everything go when we view so much suffering in the world, when we see that, And I said a comment to a subscriber. They said they were going to unsubscribe. I don't know if they did or not, but I told her that suffering's a choice. Maybe something to think about. And maybe that message doesn't resonate with you, or you can't hear it right now in your journey, and that's okay too. There's no judgment. But it is a choice to be in a low vibration. Everybody's on their own life plan. We all are experiencing good and bad in our life. That's how we grow and evolve. And yes, it's not to say that you don't be compassionate to other people that are struggling. But it's also, sending them a lot of love on their journey and hoping that they, can push through that. But then also knowing that truly the only thing we're responsible for is ourself and our path. Everything else is out of our control. So maintain that high frequency within you and project that energy. That's how we're going to get this positive change. If you're going to sit in fear or sit in the suffering of others, we're just amplifying more of that energy. The universe operates on two vibrations, on fear and love. And so, even though it's not easy, it's a challenge. It's something to be mindful of every day. Try your best to just maintain that high frequency and be the change that you wish to see in the world. All right. All right. So enough of that. I hope that really resonated with you, because I was getting goosebumps as the messages were coming in. Again, I always say use your own discernment. If a message that I say or another reader doesn't resonate with your truth, that's okay. Again, we're all on different levels. And that's not to say that anybody that's on a lower level that, that I'm better than. No, there's no judgment there. sometimes we're just where we're at on our path. We're not able to hear that or resonate with that message currently. All right. Yeah, and letting go of fear is different for everyone. Absolutely, Celtic's here. Absolutely. Yeah, it's no better than anybody can. You can choose. We have choice. We have free will. We're powerful beings. We get to decide what we allow in and what energetic boundaries we need to set. If ever you're feeling like you're operating at a fearful place, check in, see where that resistance is. What are you holding on to? Oftentimes to heal and grow, there has to be a change in our thoughts, our beliefs. We take action to change that and be mindful and cognizant. Um, but if you're feeling fearful, know that this is a lesson for you. You know, it's a test for all of us. I can give you all tools to help you on your healing journey or your growth and evolution, but I can't do the work for you. That's your karma. That's where that responsibility of self comes in and is so important. All right. So, some changes going on. I'm very excited about. I hope you all are too. Um, Again, Susan Lynn will be on my channel tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern. And I should be on Mel's channel Thursday night. I haven't talked to him, but I believe that's the plan. I'll update my community board when I hear from him. For my wonderful members, next Monday, the 24th at 7 p.m. Eastern will be our next members live. We'll be doing mini personal readings and our November giveaway for a free reading or Reiki session. And if anybody would like to join, the join tab is in the description box below. Or I think you can just go onto my YouTube and join. It's $10 a month, but we do some additional content. We do a monthly healing and prayer circle, and then also I do 20 mini personal readings. I keep it fair, so I don't take any questions before the show starts. Once I make the announcement to send in your questions, I build a list. First 20 questions in are the ones that I take. So make sure that you're there on time because it does usually fill right up. All right. Besides that, next week, I'm not sure, besides the members live, what I'll be doing, if I'll be doing a solo show or not. I'm going to try to on Tuesday if I'm able to, but with the holidays and I have my first master level, Holy Fire World Peace master level class that I'm teaching, and I'm so excited about that. That's going to be my focus for next week. So really excited to be adding on this new class and sharing this life-changing energy. I took a review class over the summer, and like I said, I'm shifting and evolving so much this year, so it's been so deeply transformative for me. And so I'm really excited to start sharing that with some of my students. I do have 2 spots open for that class. It's the 28th, 29th, and 30th, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. If anybody would like to join, there's a way that I can have you join up until the class. You do need to be, you don't have to necessarily be a Holy Fire Reiki practitioner, but you do have to be a Reiki practitioner level 2 or higher for at least 6 months. It can be from any Reiki lineage, and have your level 2 symbols memorized. I also think it's important to be dedicated to Reiki before taking on that next step. You'll want to be very familiar with doing self Reiki, treating others, doing Reiki at a distance. But if that feels right to you and you want to go on that next level of your training, again, I have 2 spots open. You can go to my website, Kevin's Loving Vibrations, and read all the information on the class, or email me any questions that you may have. And then also, as I just finished 2 of my beginner level classes, the level 1 and 2 Holy Fire class. I am offering Holy Fire level 1 and 2 in January 2026. It is a combined class, so you learn 1 and 2. It's an online class, beginner friendly. Anybody can learn Reiki. I have plenty of spots open for that still. If you're interested, it's on the website as well. But I also I was thinking about it and really excited because we're in a 9 collective year. And next year will be a 1, which is all about new beginnings and kind of starting over. And where do you want your new opportunities, and where do you want your future to go? And also, we often do that in the new year as well. We set those intentions for our growth. And so I'd say if it resonates with you, start off the new year with some positive healing, growth, and tools of empowerment and growth. And again, anybody can learn Reiki. It's more than just energy healing work. It is really a spiritual practice that you could use just for about anything in your life. So that resonates with you. The 2 classes dates, the 1 class is January 10th for the level 1 and the 31st. It's 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And then the 2nd class I'm offering is January 11th and February 1st, same time. All right. All right, that's enough for my announcements. Sorry, chatty for 20 minutes, but a lot of things I wanted to share. All right, so I did have some questions sent in ahead of time. Let me just see. I did have some questions sent in. I'm not going to read on politics today. If you have a current event question, that's fine. Again, Susan Lynn will be on tomorrow, and I should be on with Mel Thursday. So we can focus in on everything going on in the world then. I honestly have not paid attention to the news. My focus has been on my class, and I needed a day to rest and recover. So obviously the Epstein stuff is going on, but all right. So if you see me looking down, I start some questions beforehand. And I did see somebody in the chat wanted my opinion. What's my take on 3i Atlas, which I've read on before. It's interesting because if you all remember, if you've been following me for a while, I had the weirdest dream. I think it was August, September. I think right around when we actually started talking about 3i Atlas. And it was kind of in that phase when you're waking up, but you're still partially dreaming. And it was such an eerie vision that I had. And it really wasn't a vision. I heard it. But it made like the TV announcements, like siren noise for like the emergency broadcast system. And it was like, we're interrupting your program with important news. And I didn't hear what the news was, but just kind of intuitively tapping. And what it felt like was almost like War of the Worlds energy, like alien invasion. And it was definitely like a fear response energy that was going with it. And which is weird because, I know that our ET friends have been here all along. So I'm not fearful over that, but I wonder if it was like a collective fear. So with 3i Atlas, we can throw some cards on like what it's bringing for us. I don't feel it's a ET ship. I will say that. It feels like it's a comet, but I do pick up an ET connection with it as well. So I'm not exactly sure what that is. Maybe we're seeing more and more of them because of it. So let's just throw some cards. It's interesting we're having all of these solar flares now too, because I do feel like it's shifting things. in our solar system. To me, it feels very enlightened, though. Like it's bringing a lot of clarity, a lot of these positive shifts. The Four of Pentacles just came out. Just interesting. It's all about like holding on to like security. The message of like being frugal as well, but interesting. The Devil, Ace of Cups, Six of Wands came out. Almost feels like maybe it's uplifting and healing us from all of the toxicity we've been going through and bringing acknowledgement and celebration for us. Oh, interesting. And then we have the Judgment, the Temperance, and the Death card. So I think it's waking a lot of people up. Judgment's about like a spiritual awakening, big announcement, a wake-up call, trying to help balance the yin and yang. Part of this shift, but it's slow, it's gradual, it's balanced, it's trying to rebalance. And it's an opportunity for rebirth and change. Interesting. It definitely has a feeling of ascension to it as well. But like I said, I do, obviously there's not a tarot card for our ET friends, but it does feel like there's a connection with them as well. Thank you so much, Mimi. She says she just finished my class. She's glad she made the decision to add it to her spiritual growth journey. Love that. So that's my take on it. It's bringing a lot of change and awakenings, awareness, shifting, bringing in healing, love, helping us to shift away from some of this heavy toxic energy we've been going through. All right. I was getting quite a bit of personal readings, and it's not that I'm opposed to doing personal readings, but the thing is with my solo live show, I really want it to be messages that everybody can get rather than individual, because most people aren't really interested in hearing everybody else's readings and maybe getting a shot for a reading. Not to say that I haven't done many personal readings in the past, but again, I don't necessarily have time for it this week. But waterfalls, I was kind of talking about this in free will and choice a little bit earlier, but I will just bring it up because, like I said, I was chatting about it earlier, but waterfall says a sudden break with my oldest child has cratered my spiritual life. I'm trying to respect her decision to withdraw, but I'm extremely worried, which doesn't help either of us. Help, suggestions. Yes. You know, it's hard as a parent to fully kind of let go, especially in that situation. And I can't tell you what to do with that. I would just continue to stay in the love and send your daughter a lot of love waterfalls and respect her decision and free will. You know, unfortunately, we can learn a lot from our challenges in our life. That's where the growth comes in, and it's out of our control. Even with the politics, you know, what I'll just mirror it with this, is even those that you disagree with, it doesn't mean that you have to allow them to take your power or dim your light. We can still be compassionate. and let go of any judgment and send them love. Now, that doesn't mean that we have to um, not speak our truth and stand up for what we believe in. Um, but we can still send them love. Everybody's capable of changing if they're open to it. So there's always hope. That's what I would tell you, Waterfall. There's always hope. Just continue to send them love. Oh, interesting. Rob says it's funny when I meditate on 3A outlets, I get nothing. Yeah, there's like I said, I can kind of tap into it a little bit. Do pick up some things with that, but again, like I pick up that it's a common, it's not a ship. But I do feel like there is an ET element to it as well. But ultimately, it feels like it's for the greater good. It's shifting a lot. But I will say, Waterfalls, I am sending you and your daughter a lot of love and compassion. And I'm sorry that it's been a challenge for both of you. All right. So, sorry, it's hard to juggle when I have questions in the comments and you're sending me questions. And then I feel like I have comments in multiple places. Let's see. Antoinette's granddaughter says, I've been seeing a lot of different people on YouTube talking gibberish and claiming it's light language. I can't make heads or tails of it. Is it light language? They seem to believe it, yet none of them offer any translation of what they're saying. I'm asking as I genuinely want to know. Interesting. It's hard to comment because I don't know exactly who you're referring to. But light language isn't necessarily something that you understand. Light language is a feeling and something that you really connect with in the heart. It's almost like telepathic, but more of a feeling rather than actual words, if that makes sense. Yeah, higher realms just said the same thing. Light language is understood through the heart, not with the logical mind. Absolutely. Willow Hedge Wool asks, when will we get back to creating green energy and new century jobs? I had been looking hopeful before the election. It's still on the path. That's always the thing. You can see something, but energies can change. Free will can affect the timing of things. All right. So be open with the timing. My first thought is more shifting maybe towards the end of next year, 2026 into 2027 feels better as of right now. Oh, interesting. The Empress, which is Mother Earth. Building a foundation, working with Mother Earth, green, and acknowledgement moving forward. 6 too, so like I said, maybe 2026. The thing is it's not it's not a matter if it's going to happen. It needs to happen. I also wonder why too. We pollute our earth. We take all of our resources, and then we wonder also why we're seeing all of these disasters and destruction. It's not necessarily her punishing us, but it is her shifting. When we take, we don't give to Mother Earth. There has to be recalibration there. All right. But I definitely see it moving forward. I would say 2026, 2027 is what came to mind. Leslie makes a good point. She says, rejecting cruelty is a type of judgment. I get confused sometimes about whether I'm supposed to judge at all, but then I circle back to hurting others is not okay. It's difficult to feel compassion. Yeah, it's not easy. Again, that's where stand up for what you believe in. Also, figure out how you can be of service and represent the change that you want to see in the world. I think that that's a lot of it too, is we just feel hopeless, like there's nothing that we can do to change it. Sure there is. We're in charge of our destiny. We get to choose where we go. And so figure out a way to give back in a way that feels like it counters everything, all the suffering that you see going on in the world. Again, it almost is focusing inward on things that you are in control of and sending love and light to the things that are out of your control. Because judgment is a vibration of fear. Oh, I hope that helps. Exactly. We can't constantly take from the earth, offering from substance and contaminate it and expect good outcomes. Exactly. All right. Somebody asked me a good question. Actually, let me pull this up. One of my students asked a non-political question. She put in caps. She says, do we have parallel lives? Or are souls experiencing more than one life in other dimensions simultaneously? It's a really good question. It's interesting because in Reiki, one of the level 2 symbols allows us to send Reiki to anyone because it connects to that oneness and that pure consciousness, but then also allows us to send Reiki to the past or the future, because at that higher dimension, it's all kind of happening at the same time. I will say something isn't quite resonating with parallel lives, because we're present in this life. Here in the earth dimension, time is a necessity. So it's not like your soul's fragmented into other lives. But at that higher dimension, that pure consciousness, it's all kind of happening at once. That's where I say, things can change. Nothing is completely set in stone. Some things are set in stone, or we agree to a life plan, but we also have free will and can change our karma as well. That's what makes predictions hard in the timing aspect, because we make a different choice. It changes that trajectory, if that makes sense. That's a good point. Anna says discernment is valid. It requires judgment. Yeah. But I'm talking about judging others for what level or where they're at on their soul's journey. But yeah, it's good to question that. I agree. But then again, just be mindful of where your judgment is. Is it coming from a loving place or a place of fear? Like I said, something about parallel lives when I read it. I don't think it's quite the way that you're asking, Martha, but at that higher level of consciousness, it's all kind of playing out at the same time. But you're very much present in this life. No, thank you, Kathy. She says, kudos to you. After all, your channel's name is Kevin's Loving Vibrations. Yeah, that's something I've been reflecting on as well. And can I share? I think I have shared it before, but I when I started my channel, I felt guided to do so for years before. But like a lot of people, doubting the guidance that I was receiving, and really most of my life, I will say, was at a lower vibration, and just setting up those limitations for myself. But when I took my level 1 Asui Reiki training, it literally was a total shift for me. My third eye and crown were buzzing for about 3 weeks afterwards. My intuitive abilities really strengthened. I'll say that attunement was a spiritual, magical journey within itself, but I finally decided I was going to stop making excuses for why I couldn't do something and just do it. And I didn't have to know it all right then either. Just take that leap of faith, follow the guidance. And I will say, if you align to your purpose and step out of the fear or your own self limitations or the unhealthy parts of your egos that tells you can't do something, if you step out of that and again align to your higher self, to your purpose, the universe will reward you and bless you and bring in abundance beyond what you could even comprehend. So I'm so thankful for it. And I named my channel and gave kudos to my Reiki training and the loving vibrations it sent me. So and somebody says, after all the political mess, what's next for us? That's a good question. I've often said that, I know most of us don't agree with our president and his base and their direction that they're taking our country, but in a sense, he's very much on that message of draining the swamp. Now, we know that he is the swamp, he is the corruption, but what he's essentially doing is he's a magnifying glass on the corruption and exposing everything that isn't serving us with politics. And so by his own corruption, the changes that will happen afterwards will re-strengthen our democracy and our government, and we'll make those necessary changes so somebody like that can never hold power again. So it's almost like it's a time of rebuilding in America after this political mess is over. And it's not going to be rebuilt overnight. And so I want to caution everybody with that. Everybody's like, he needs to get out of here. When he's out of here, we'll be fine. It's going to take quite a while to clean up this mess. Like I said, the energy still feels heavy for a while. But I'm feeling very positive. Next year does feel positive, although with some changes that I think we're all looking for. But also, too, it's feeling a bit lost. And where do we go moving forward? How do we fix this? It's kind of the energy I'm picking up for next year. 2027 feels like it's a really strong year, and even into 2028. Again, we're going into a 1 year, which is all about starting over, new beginnings, new opportunities. It takes a while for that growth to come in. Somebody asked, do you see the housing market prices in the Midwest going down spring of 2026? Or much lower interest rates? I do feel like the interest rates are going to go down. I don't think it will be resolved by spring of 2026. The thing is that we need to rebuild a lot of the infrastructure and have enough housing for everybody. That's why they can manipulate the prices so high, because there's not a lot of options, And I do see in the future them working on building more housing and even cheaper housing so that it brings down the prices a little bit. I do feel like the interest rates, I don't know about spring of 2026. It feels more like the second part of 2026. Because even for a lot of my clients I've been reading for, I make sure to tell them, I don't tell you what to do. I'm just a channel receiving the information. You get to make the decision. It's not my responsibility to tell you what to do. Sometimes people look for psychics to tell them what they need to do. And I don't do that at all. But the message that I've been getting is it's better to wait. Second part of next year feels better to me. All right. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I love that, Barbara. All right. Let's see. Well, a Reiki question. Somebody asked, this thought is a little different, not sure how to word this idea. I know that you're a Reiki master and teach and work on others. She wants to know, is there a very concise, clear way to show us how it works? Maybe we could use it some on ourselves or even our pets. Don't know if it's safe to do without training. Well, the thing is Reiki is just universal life energy. It comes in an unlimited, abundant supply from the universe. So there are other healing modalities besides Reiki that use this energy and channel it. You can't call universal life energy Reiki without taking a Reiki class and being attuned, because that attunement is it directs that connection, but then also, in Reiki we use the symbols. So without that attunement, sure, you can call it universal life energy, but you can't call it Reiki, if that makes sense. Now, I do think some people connect to this energy and use it, and can use it for healing or for their own, spiritual practice, sharing this energy with the world. And is that healing? Yeah. I think that there's other modalities similar to that. I can't comment because I'm not trained in other modalities, but to actually call it Reiki, you need to take the class. Yeah. And I will say, this Holy Fire Reiki, I don't want to say it's better than Asui, because as I just shared earlier, Asui Reiki was life-changing for me. And again, I give it thanks and credit for why we're here talking on YouTube right now, but and where I'm at on my path and journey. But the frequencies and the guidance and just the strength of this Holy Fire energy, it does truly come from a higher level of consciousness that we're ready to work with at this time. So it's been an amazing journey since incorporating it on my path. And the thing I love about it too is that it meets everybody where they're at on their journey. It meets them individually because the placements are done differently. It meets each student where they're at. They all have their own unique experience. They all have their own different journey after the experience. And it's coming directly from source. I've had such amazing students with experiences, but even clients. Ness is here. I don't know if I should share. I think she shared when we did a show, but when we did a session, she had a powerful vision and a powerful visitor join her. So yeah, that's a good point. We always could connect to that energy, but maybe we forgot. Or maybe there's fear blocking us. You know, you can think about it when children come into the world, they're operating at such a high frequency and really connected to their higher self, their true self. Very sensitive to energy and very intuitive as well. And, you know, through time, through either parents telling them how they need to behave, how they need to conform to society, and then school, and then all of the cultural aspects, we sometimes tend to forget. And that's the thing I love about Reiki, is it really helps us to reconnect to this energy. All right. Let's do a couple more questions, and I'll end with a message for the week. I'm having fun talking about spiritual topics. Like I said, it's a good shift from just politics, obsessing over that nonstop. So I thank you all for being open. It seems like most of you are enjoying it. So let's see. Somebody asked, how can we raise our vibration? Is it through kindness, meditation, love, doing good works? It can be that. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. And again, I think it's just being very aware of what frequency you're operating at. The answer is going to be different for everybody. We can all raise our vibrations in different ways. Again, it's connecting to love, overcoming fear, overcoming those lower densities. Meditation can be great. I love to go out into my garden. I get the most wonderful bird messengers, and that's where I really go to tap into that inner peace and calm. So I find nature to be very uplifting and healing. Sometimes even doing a bit of shadow work. Go within and figure out what you're holding on to, because sometimes it's not even conscious. It's subconscious things, traumas from the past. And I also will say, I think just being very, very present, because I think oftentimes a lot of us focusing on the past, and I feel like there's mistakes that we're holding on to the past. If I would have done it this way, my life would have been differently. Can't do anything to change the past. We can reflect to see how far we've come, our growth. But dwelling in the past too much doesn't serve us. And I think in terms of seeing psychics and predicting the future, spending so much time into the future can be really unnerving and bring in anxiety as well. We start to get into the downward spirals of what if this happens, it's all like that doom and gloom. But what can I do right now? What can I do right now to get where I want to go? So being present, I think, is first off, and just acknowledge and be aware of your frequency. But again, just doing those things that you love, things that lift you up energetically, doing good work, helping others, sending compassion and love. All right. A few people asked about ETs. I will say I'm not knowledgeable about all the different ET races or any of that. There's other really gifted readers out there that connect to the ETs. I find it interesting. Like I said, I'm not fearful of them, and they've been here all along. But no, really not my thing, or something that I'm extremely knowledgeable and to help with. All right, so just looking through the comments, a lot of people just sending in very nice comments. So we'll take one more question from the chat. Somebody wants to send me a spiritual or current event question. We'll answer that, and then I'll throw an oracle card for us for the next week. Oh, I love that. Spiritual hacks. The school's over. If you're here, you graduated. You did the work. Just be the light. I love that. You know what? And even if you connect to a higher frequency, a more uplifted frequency, doesn't mean that things don't happen to us. It's not always great. I've said that on my channel many times. If everything was amazing all the time, what would we learn? What would we grow from? That's ultimately what we're here for, is for that growth. But when you sit in a lower frequency of fear, you're just attracting more and more of that into your life. So that also can kind of go into that anxiousness too. You tend not to attract all of that or be in resonance with those lower vibrations. And oftentimes, maybe you learned your lessons for this life, and so you could have a little bit easier too. All right. Well, I'm not seeing any other questions, so let's pull an oracle card. All right. So what do we need to know for the next week's Spirit? And if you watch this later, let me know your thoughts of how the show was today. Again, today specifically, no politics, but I don't mind integrating it. I just don't want it to be the focus. All right. What do we need to know for this week's Spirit? There's sensitivity. I just love the images of this deck. So for this week brings heightened intuition and compassion. Interesting. You're becoming more sensitive to the energy and vibrations that precede all physical creation. We can all sense these energies, but our rational minds often override our feelings. Sense beyond what you see with your eyes and hear in your mind. Trust your heart will bring together the most up-to-date information through your senses. When we are open to sensing and feeling love, it means we are open to sensing and feeling fear. Isn't this a perfect message? This clarifies the importance of actively choosing where you place your gaze and focus your energy. Don't let old stories determine what you will think and feel. There is no hiding behind words. Feeling sorry for another or a situation doesn't help them or you. It takes you to a place where you can't hear any solutions and feeds back what they already know. You came here to create reality, not accept it. Oh, I love that. You came here to create reality, not to accept it. You attract what you are, not what you think or what you say, but what you feel. Celebrate your sensitivity. Without it, you may not realize you have a choice. What do you want to bring into your life? What a beautiful message, and just really resonates with the guidance I've been receiving and even sharing with you all. You can't make this stuff up, right? Oh. All right, you guys. Well, thank you all so much for being here, for your support. Again, Susan Lynn will be on tomorrow night. We'll do more politics then. I should be on Mel's channel. Members next Monday, do our next members live. And if anybody would like to join my Reiki classes, all of the information is on my website, Kevin's Loving Vibrations. Also, I forgot to mention, if you are a level 2 practitioner and you want to join my virtual Reiki shares, I would love to have you. It's been wonderful building a community of light workers online where we can share in our experiences and get into discussions. We can practice and review techniques, or if you feel like you need help as Reiki practitioners, and then also get some practice trading Reiki, or we do healing experiences as well. So my next monthly Reiki share is December 6th. Changing the time, it's 5 to 7:30, just so we have a lot more time to practice. All right. All right, you all. Sending you a lot of love. Grateful for all of your support. Thankful for all the moderators. Appreciate all of you. You all take it easy. Make sure, you're connecting to that inner frequency. See what frequency you're operating at. And take care. See you all soon.